Ikhwani, I found this speech very powerful. I want you all to listen. You hear nowadays people say to you, every criticization is taken. Especially those issues that I have been questioned about, to explain to you. They say to you that criticization takes precedency over praising. We say, of course, but it's not in its general. لَيْسَ عَلَى إِطْلَاقِ. We don't just open it like that and say every criticization takes precedency over every what? Praising. No, it's not like that. It's not open like that. Yes, it's true as a principle, but it doesn't mean every single time it's like that. It doesn't mean that. Because there's another principle which means كَلَامُ الْأَقْرَانِ يُطْوَى وَلَا يُرْوَى. If two scholars that are level to one another, who are slandering and criticizing each other for what? They are two scholars, and I'm going to come to it inshallah. Like Muhammad ibn Ishaq, he criticized who? Imam Malik. Muhammad ibn Ishaq, the great noble scholar, he criticized who? Imam Malik. Now when, to the extent that Imam Malik and Muhammad ibn Ishaq, their criticization to one another, it reached a point where Muhammad ibn Ishaq said about Imam Malik, he is not from the tribe he claims to be from. He's not from the people of Bani al-Duba'i. He's not from them. Imam Malik. I'm going to come to it inshallah. Imam Malik, when he was asked about Muhammad Ishaq, what do you say about him? He said, Kadhab, he's a liar. And he brought Jarh Mufassar, and he wasn't taken. So not every criticization takes presidency over what? Write that in a big title. Not every criticization is put before what? Every praising. Sometimes the praising is going to be put before what? The criticization. Now, listen to this inshallah. And this is a point that I want brothers to also listen to it very well, very well. Because I'm not the type of person who's good at typing. I'm good at what? Talking. Others are good at typing. I'm not good at that. So I want people to listen to me clearly. Al-Imam al-Usuli al-Faqih, Abi Bakr al-Sarkhasi. He died the year 490. He has a book called Usul al-Sarkhasi. It's an Usul al-Fiqh book. Jarh al-Ta'dil is in Usul al-Fiqh, just so you don't misquote me. Jarh al-Ta'dil is studied in Usul al-Fiqh. Ziyadat al-Thiqa is studied in Usul al-Fiqh. Al-Shadhu is studied in Usul al-Fiqh. Mahfud is studied in Usul al-Fiqh. Na'am, the principles are not they're slightly may be different. But Imam Sarkhasi, when he talks now, he's not going to be talking about with the tongue of the Usuliyin. He'll be using the understanding of who? The Muhaddithin. Because he'll say it here yourself. Please listen. Because it was said about me that I bring the evidences of what? Issues that are furu'. I use issues of fiqh for the issues of what? Jarh al-Ta'dil. I used issues of fiqh last lesson and the weeks before. All the quotes I brought and everything, 100 quotes over I brought. Each and every one of them was said that all of them was fiqh. None of them was ilm jarh al-ta'dil. Okay, now I promise you there won't be no books of fiqh. All of it is going to be ilm jarh al-ta'dil inshallah. Look what he said. He said, وَأَمَّا مَا يَكُونُ مِنْ أَئِمَّةِ الْحَدِيثِ. مِنْ أَئِمَّةِ الْحَدِيثِ. So it's أَئِمَّةُ الْحَدِيث. What has come from the scholars of hadith is, فِي الطَّعْمِ, when they criticize the people, that is two types. The criticization of people are two types. مُبْهَمٌ, a criticization that is not mentioned why. وَمُفَسَّرٌ, and one that is mentioned why. ثُمَّ مُفَسَّرٌ, the one that is explained. The criticization that is mufassar, which is explained, is two types. Allahu Akbar. The one, the jarh, that is mufassar, is two types. Listen to this very well. ما لا يصلح أن يكون طعنا. In the jarh mufassar, there is in it some that are not going to be taken. ما لا يصلح, it is not correct أن يكون طعنا, for it to be slandered on somebody. وما يصلح أن يكون, and there is a type that can be. You know what some of our brothers say, may Allah elevate their status? You know what they say? They say every jarh mufassar, it has to be taken. And Imam Sarkhasi is saying to you, no, the jarh mufassar is two types. There is some that is taken and there's some that are not taken. Listen to him, he says it. مَا لَا يَصْلُحُ. In the jarh mufassar, there are those that are not going to be taken as a criticization. وَمَا يَصْلُحُ. And in it are those that are what? That are allowed. وَالَّذِي يَصْلُحُ, the ones that are allowed in the Jarh al-Mufassar is مُجْتَهِدٌ فِي, the one that the scholar strives in. أو متفق عليه, or the one that is agreed upon. So the Jarh Mufassar is two types. ما لا يصلح أن يكون طعنا, that which is, it can't be a criticization on a person. وما يصلح, and that which is permissible for it to be a criticization on somebody. As for the one that can be a criticization on somebody, is two types. مجتهد فيه, one the scholar, he strives. And the second one is متفق عليه, that which is agreed upon. And I want to ask you brothers, please remember this, because this is going to be a quote later. علم جرح والتعديل, the science of Jarh والتعديل, is ijtihad, is based on what? A striving. So blind following can occur in the science of Jarh والتعديل. Blind following can occur in the science of Jarh والتعديل. And I will bring it from the A'immat al-Nuqad, from the scholars who said that. And he goes on to it. And he goes into his kalam. I think it would confuse you if I explain it all. Now, but my istidlal, or my point has got clear to the brothers, inshallah, I hope. Now, ikhwani, there's an issue that I want you all to know, which is, if a person is criticized, and that person is criticized, the scholars agree that he's a just person. They praise him. The praising are agreed. There's 2 or 3 people who choose to say what? Don't take from him. Look what the scholars say. We will not take those 2 or 3 people's speech. We'll take the ocean of people who praise them. Listen to this. Al-Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said, كل رجل, every man, ثبتت, it becomes clear, عدالته, he's praising, his status becomes clear. لم يقبل, we're not going to accept, فيه, in that person, جرح أحد, the criticization of somebody will not be accepted. حتى, unless يبين, that he clarifies for us, ذلك, this, بأمر, a issue, لا يحتمل, that cannot take any ifs and buts, غير جرحه, except that criticization. If it can take a percentage of doubt, we're not going to take it from him. We want somebody that's clear cut. I didn't say that, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said. Go look for it more, inshallah. Also, Imam al-Subki rahimahullah, when he came to the tarjama, if you go to Tabaqat al-Shafi'iyya, in the Tabaqat of Shafi'iyya, the speech of Imam Ahmad, where can you find it? Go to the tarjama of Ikrama fi Muqaddamat Fath al-Bari. If you go to Hajj al-Sari, Imam Hafiz ibn Hajar, go to page 425. You will find what I just said. Not only that, to give you an example, that some scholars, I just gave you a quote of Imam Ahmad Sah. Now I'm going to give you an example. Ikrima, who was the Mawla, he was a slave boy for Abdullah ibn Abbas. Imam Muslim, he left him. He left his narration because he was spoken against. I want you to all listen. Ikrima, Mawla ibn Abbas. Imam Muslim, he did not bring him in his Sahih. He chose not to take him because some scholars criticized him. Some of the scholars spoke against him in a clear, they mentioned the reason why. Now, scholars came like Muhammad Nasr al-Marwazi, Abdullah ibn Manda, Abu Hatim ibn Hibban, Abu Umar ibn Abdul Barr, those 4 scholars I mentioned. They came and they wrote books to defend Ikramah and to refute Imam Muslim for leaving him. Ibn Abdul Barr, Ibn Hibban, Abu Abdullah ibn Manda, Muhammad Nasr al-Marwazi, and Ibn Jarir al-Tabari, 5 of those scholars, they came and they proved that what has been said about him is not correct. Why did they do that, brothers? I want to ask you a question. Because to them, the criticization that came to them concerning Ikramah was not strong enough. The praising was more powerful. So this shows us another thing, and it brings me back to my lesson that I said last week. If a scholar is criticized and a scholar is praised, the student of knowledge is allowed to look at the both of the sides, and then he is allowed to choose which one is more correct. And if a student of knowledge, he does not have knowledge and he is not equipped, he has no understanding, he is then entitled to follow a scholar and blind follow him in that view. Blind follow with a capital B. It's allowed. Inshallah, I'll mention aqwal of the ulama. Also, Imam al-Subki rahimahullah, in his Tabaqat al-Shafi'i, when Ibn Abi Dhi'b spoke against Imam Malik, criticized Imam Malik, and Ibn Ma'in criticized who? Yahya ibn Ma'in criticized Imam Shafi'i. And Imam al-Nasa'i, he criticized Ahmad ibn Salih. All of that, when that happened, you know what Imam Subki said? He said, La yultafatu, we're not going to look at their speech. Why is it they're not going to look at the speech? Because what they brought against one another, it was not sufficient enough, and they were scholars that were leveled. And because they were leveled, what would happen sometimes when people are leveled, they may occur from one another, gravity and force, that they may push one another. And that pushing and pulling, as a student of knowledge, you have to take their stance, which is what? فَكَلَامُ الْأَقْرَانِ يُطْوَى وَلَا يُرْوَى. The speeches of the scholars that are leveled, they should be overlooked and not to be taken into high consideration. Examples are too much, I can't go into all of them. Now I want to go to